What I'm about to talk, you may completely change the way you think about bedtime. Most people believe blood pressure is controlled in the doctor's office by medication or maybe by what they eat during the day. But for adults between 60 and 85, one of the biggest forces shaping tomorrow morning's blood pressure starts tonight in the final 3 hours before sleep. And the frightening part is this. Many seniors are doing things every evening that feel harmless, even healthy, while those exact habits are quietly pushing pressure higher, fragmenting sleep, stressing the nervous system, and leaving the heart working when it should be resting. I'm Dr. Thomas Richard, and after decades of caring for patients with hypertension, strokes, irregular heart rhythms, and heart failure, I can tell you something most people are never clearly taught. Your body is supposed to shift gears at night. Your pulse should settle. Your stress hormones should ease. Your blood vessels should relax. Your blood pressure should naturally drift downward while you sleep. That nighttime drop is not a luxury. It's one of the ways your cardiovascular system repairs itself. When that process is disrupted night after night, the numbers you see in the morning often begin climbing long before you realize why. And this is where so many good people get confused. They focus on the salt shaker at lunch, the walk after breakfast, the medication in the morning, and yes, all of that matters. But they ignore the hours before bed, which often determine whether the brain enters restful sleep, whether the body stays in a calm parasympathetic state, and whether blood pressure finally gets a chance to come down. If your evenings are chaotic, overstimulating, heavy, or irregular, you may be undoing a full day of good choices in just one night. And the effect is not always dramatic at first. Sometimes it shows up as a slightly higher morning reading, sometimes as poor sleep, sometimes as headaches, racing thoughts, or waking up exhausted. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the best bedtime routine for better blood pressure if you're between 60 and 85. Not a trendy routine, not a social media routine, not one built around expensive supplements, gadgets, or nonsense. I'm talking about a medically sensible, real-world routine that helps your heart, helps your sleep, and helps your blood pressure behave the way it was designed to behave overnight. And the most powerful part of this routine, is not what most people think. It's not a tea. It's not a pillow. It's not a vitamin. In fact, the number one step is something many people break every single weekend without realizing the damage it can do. But before I reveal that final step, let me tell you about Gloria from Arizona, because her story brings this entire issue into focus. Gloria was 74, active, organized, and very disciplined with her medication. Every morning she checked her blood pressure at the kitchen table. And over several months, her readings started creeping upward. Not wildly, just enough to scare her. 132 became 141. 141 became 149. Then a few mornings touched the 100s and 50s. She was frightened. She thought the medication had stopped working. She thought maybe her arteries were suddenly getting worse. But when I asked her to walk me through her evenings, minute by minute, the real problem wasn't her medication at all. It was her bedtime routine. Gloria ate dinner late, usually around 8:30. Then she watched tense crime shows until almost 11. She sipped wine because it made her sleepy. She answered messages on her tablet in bed. She often had a small bowl of salty crackers because she didn't want to sleep hungry. Then she stayed up later on weekends, slept in the next morning, and repeated the cycle. None of those habits sounded extreme to her. That's exactly why this is so dangerous. High blood pressure rarely announces itself with a trumpet. It builds through patterns, and bedtime patterns are some of the most powerful patterns of all. So let's rebuild the evening the right way, step by step, from the outside in. Routine. Step number 10 starts earlier than most people expect. Finish dinner well before bedtime. I don't mean skipping dinner. I mean giving your body time to digest before you lie down. If you eat a heavy, rich, sugary, or salty meal too close to bed, your system stays busy when it should be unwinding. Digestion keeps the body active. Reflux becomes more likely. Sleep becomes lighter. And when sleep becomes lighter, blood pressure often loses part of its normal nighttime drop. A good target for most people is to finish the evening meal roughly 3 hours before bed. That simple shift alone can change how deeply you sleep and how stable your body feels by morning. Now let's go deeper into why that matters. After a large late meal, especially one high in fat, sugar, or sodium, your body is not entering rest mode. It is processing, absorbing, regulating, and reacting. Some people notice heartburn. Others feel bloated, thirsty, or restless. Some wake up sweating or uncomfortable and never connect it to the dinner they ate at 9 p.m. For older adults, that discomfort can be enough to break sleep repeatedly across the night, even if they don't fully wake up. And repeated sleep disruption matters because your blood pressure doesn't benefit nearly as much from broken sleep as it does from sustained restorative sleep. So the goal is not a huge dinner. The goal is a calm, digestive system by bedtime. Routine step number 9 is one people resist because it feels comforting. Cut out the so-called nightcap. I know this surprises many people. A little wine, a small whiskey, a relaxing cocktail, it feels like it helps. It feels like it lowers stress. It feels like it makes you sleepy. And in the first hour, it may do exactly that. But alcohol is a trickster. It often knocks people toward drowsiness early, then fragments the second half of the night. Sleep becomes lighter, awakenings become more frequent, snoring may worsen, and the body doesn't get the clean, stable rest the heart needs. What feels like a sleep aid in the evening often becomes a sleep disruptor after midnight. I once cared for a man named Harold from South Carolina, age 79, who was convinced his evening bourbon was helping his blood pressure because it relaxed him. But he was waking at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock every night, using the bathroom, snoring heavily, and feeling foggy in the morning. His morning blood pressure was consistently elevated. When he removed the nightly alcohol for a few weeks, he was shocked. He fell asleep a little slower at first, yes, but his sleep became deeper and far less interrupted. His morning numbers settled, his headaches eased. His wife said he even seemed gentler and more alert during the day. That's the thing. The best bedtime routine is not about what sedates you fastest. It's about what supports the most stable sleep architecture through the whole night. Routine step number 8 is a big one for seniors who think they're making a harmless substitution. Watch the caffeine clock. Coffee at dinner, black tea after 6 p.m., chocolate desserts late at night, cola in the evening, even some energy waters people forget contain stimulants. All of that can delay sleep or make sleep shallower. And here's the trap. You may still fall asleep. That's what confuses people. They say, "Doctor, caffeine doesn't affect me. I can drink coffee and go right to bed." Maybe, but going to sleep is not the same as staying in deep restorative sleep. A person can lose sleep quality without realizing it, then wake up feeling unrefreshed and with higher morning pressure. Marlene from Ohio taught me this lesson beautifully. She was 68 and proud that she had graduated from evening coffee to strong black tea because she believed tea was gentle. Every night around 7:30, she drank a large mug while watching television. She could fall asleep, no problem. But she woke up several times, felt hot at night, and often lay awake from 4:30 onward. She told me, "I sleep fine, I just don't stay asleep." That's not sleeping fine. When she moved all caffeine earlier in the day and stopped after lunch, her sleep became more continuous within 2 weeks. Her morning blood pressure trended lower, and perhaps even more importantly, she stopped feeling like every day began halfway uphill. Routine step number 7 is the bedtime snack trap, especially salty and sugary snacks. A small, sensible snack for a specific medical reason is one thing. Mindless evening grazing is something else entirely. Chips, crackers, processed meats, cookies, ice cream, sweet cereal, the foods many people reach for while watching TV can lead to thirst, blood sugar swings, indigestion, and broken sleep. Salty foods may also leave some people retaining more fluid overnight. Sugar may give a brief comfort, then a restless crash. And if the snack becomes a ritual tied to stress or loneliness, it often grows larger over time. You're not just feeding hunger. You're teaching the nervous system that nighttime is another active eating period. There's another issue people rarely consider: late fluids. Now, I'm not telling you to dehydrate yourself. Hydration matters, but many older adults spend all day barely drinking, then try to catch up in the evening. That can mean repeated trips to the bathroom all night long. Every awakening matters. Every bright bathroom light matters. Every struggle to fall back asleep matters. If you wake 3 or 4 times a night to urinate, the problem may not be only your bladder or prostate, it may also be timing. Try to do most of your hydration earlier in the day, then ease off a bit later in the evening. And, always use the bathroom right before bed. You want the body quiet, not repeatedly interrupted. Routine step number 6 is about movement, and this one must be understood correctly. Regular physical activity is one of the best things you can do for blood pressure, but the timing matters for some people. Daytime movement, especially walking, light strength training, and other doctor-approved exercise, can improve sleep later that night. Intense exercise too close to bedtime, however, may leave the heart rate elevated and the mind too alert to settle. Not everyone reacts the same way, but many adults over 60 do better when vigorous activity happens earlier, not right before bed. So yes, move your body, absolutely, but don't finish a hard workout and expect your nervous system to immediately glide into a deep restorative sleep state. Ronald, 72, from Nevada, had started doing late stationary bike sessions at 9:15 p.m. because that was when the house was finally quiet. He meant well. He was trying to improve his heart health, but when he got into bed, he felt activated, warm, and mentally switched on. He took that as proof he wasn't tired enough, so he stayed up even later. His sleep became shorter and more broken. When we moved his exercise to late morning and replaced the late bike ride with a gentle after-dinner walk, everything shifted. He fell asleep earlier, woke less often, and his morning readings became more predictable. That's the key. Not forcing exhaustion, but creating a body rhythm that naturally moves from activity into calm. Routine. Step number 5 is one of the most overlooked. Prepare your medications and health tasks before the house gets quiet. Many people wait until they are already drowsy, then start rummaging for pills, checking pill bottles, wondering whether they took a dose, or staring at a blood pressure log in bed. That is not a bedtime routine. That is a stress ritual. The brain wakes right back up. If you take evening medicines, organize them earlier. If you track blood pressure, choose a consistent medically appropriate time recommended by your clinician, and avoid turning bedtime into a performance review. And never start moving medications around on your own because of one scary number. Better routines support better data. Panic destroys both. I've seen people sabotage themselves by turning the final 20 minutes of the night into a diagnostic interrogation. They sit on the edge of the bed thinking, do I feel dizzy? Did I take the pill? Should I check my pressure again? What if it's high? What if it's low? Then they measure, worry, remeasure, and lie down with a racing mind. If you have specific instructions from your clinician, follow them. But for most people, bedtime should not be a battleground with the cuff. It should be a predictable glide path into sleep. Prepare tomorrow's pills if needed. Put your glasses, water, and essentials where they belong. Then stop managing and start unwinding. Your heart likes order, and the nervous system loves knowing the day is truly over. Routine step number 4 is where modern life quietly attacks blood pressure, screens and light. Phones, tablets, laptops, bright televisions, nonstop scrolling, emotional messages, breaking news, online arguments, all of it tells the brain the day is not over yet. Blue-rich light can interfere with the signals that help your body transition towards sleep, and stimulating content can keep stress chemistry elevated. I'm not saying every screen is evil. I'm saying the final stretch before bed should not feel like a digital emergency room. If you want better blood pressure overnight, create a screen cutoff. 30 minutes is good. 60 is better for many people. And what replaces the screen matters just as much as what you removed. Evelyn from Pennsylvania was 76 and swore she only used her tablet to relax. But what she called relaxing was reading distressing headlines, checking family group chats, zooming into medical articles, and comparing her symptoms to strangers online. By the time she turned the lamp off, her mind was buzzing. She often lay awake with her jaw clenched, then woke tired and irritable. We changed one thing first: no screen for the last hour before bed. Instead, she listened to calm music, read a familiar book, and dimmed the lights. Within 10 days, she was falling asleep faster. Within a month, her sleep was steadier, and her morning pressures were less erratic. Her body had not needed more information, it had needed less stimulation. Routine step number 3 is to create what I call a blood pressure-friendly bedroom. And no, this is not about luxury, it is about conditions. A room that is too warm, too bright, too noisy, or too busy asks the brain to stay alert. Many people sleep better in a cool, dark, quiet room. Blackout curtains help some. A fan or white noise helps others. A television in the bedroom is usually a mistake. Work papers in the bedroom are a mistake. Charging phones an arm's length from the pillow often becomes an invitation to check them. The body learns by repetition. If the bedroom is associated with stimulation, problem solving, snacking, and screen light, it stops feeling like a place of surrender. And please hear me on this because it sounds small, but it isn't. Comfort matters more with age, not less. An aching shoulder, an unsupportive pillow, a mattress that leaves you tossing, bedding that feels too hot. All of these can chip away at sleep quality night after night. Many adults assume poor sleep is simply part of aging. Sometimes it isn't aging. Sometimes it's a room that never gives the body a fair chance. So make the room dark, make it quiet, keep it a little cool if possible, remove clutter that pulls at the mind, use the bed for sleep, not for nightly debates with your phone, your finances, or the news. The more clearly your environment says rest, the more your cardiovascular system can follow that instruction. Routine step number 2 is where the nervous system finally learns to trust the evening. Build a wind-down ritual, not a random collection of habits. A ritual, something repeatable, simple, and calming. This is the bridge between daytime alertness and nighttime recovery. It may be 20 minutes, it may be 40, but it should tell your body the same story every night. We are safe, we are slowing down, nothing urgent is required now. That ritual might include washing up, dimming lights, putting tomorrow's essentials in place, reading a few pages, praying, stretching gently, or practicing slow breathing. And, the power is not in complexity. The power is in repetition. The body begins to anticipate rest. Breathing deserves special attention here because it is one of the few tools that can directly shift the body away from a stress response. When you slow the exhale, unclench the jaw, soften the shoulders, and breathe more deliberately, you are sending the nervous system a new message. Many people carry the whole day into bed in their neck, chest, and belly. They think they are lying down, but physiologically, they are still bracing. A few minutes of slow breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or light stretching can be surprisingly powerful. Not dramatic, not flashy, powerful. You are giving the heart permission to stop sprinting through thoughts and return to a steadier rhythm that makes real sleep more likely. A warm bath or warm shower can also help some people, especially if physical tension is part of the problem. The warmth can feel soothing, the ritual can be grounding, and once you step out, the body's cooling process may support sleepiness. Others do well with soft reading light and a familiar book. Some prefer a short gratitude prayer. Some like quiet instrumental music. I don't care which calming path you choose as much as I care that you choose one. What you should avoid is replacing one stimulation with another, like turning off the TV and then starting a charged family conversation. The final half hour must protect peace. Think of bedtime as a landing, not as another runway. Now let me add something that may be life-changing for many viewers. If your mind gets noisy at night, give it a parking place before you reach the pillow. Keep a small notebook near the kitchen, not the bed, and write down the thought that keeps circling. Call the pharmacy, pay the bill, ask your daughter about the appointment, pick up dog food. When tasks remain vague, the brain keeps them spinning. When they are captured, the mind can release them. This is especially helpful for adults who say, "Doctor, I'm exhausted, but the minute I lie down, my thoughts begin marching." That marching mind is not harmless. It often raises tension, delays sleep, and keeps blood pressure from settling the way it should. And now we arrive at routine step number 1, the most powerful step in this entire bedtime routine, the one that changes everything when people finally respect it. Here it is. Go to bed at a consistent time and wake up at a consistent time, not approximately, not whenever I feel sleepy, not 10 o'clock one night, midnight the next, and 1 a.m. on weekends. Consistency is the master switch. Your body's internal clock depends on it. The hormones that shape sleep depend on it. The predictability of your overnight blood pressure pattern depends on it. And yet, this is the step people break most casually because it feels less important than food or medication. In reality, it often governs how well those other efforts work. Let me put that plainly. Many people get enough hours in total, but because bedtime and wake time swing wildly, their sleep loses rhythm. The body never fully knows when to power down. One night you go to bed at 10 o'clock, another at 11:45. On Saturday, you stay up for a movie. On Sunday, you sleep late to compensate. Then Monday morning feels miserable, the day feels harder, and by evening you're overstimulated again. This irregularity matters more than people realize. The heart doesn't just respond to sleep quantity, it responds to timing, regularity, and depth. And when the schedule is erratic, the entire cardiovascular system pays a price that may show up quietly as higher blood pressure over time. I cannot tell you how many patients improve just by respecting a narrow sleep window. Choose a realistic bedtime. Choose a realistic wake time. Hold them steady as often as human life allows. That means weekends too, or at least close to it. If you need more sleep, go to bed a little earlier consistently rather than sleeping on a roller coaster schedule. For many adults over 65, a target around 7 to 8 hours works well, though individual needs vary. The real victory is not chasing a magical number. It is creating a dependable rhythm. Hearts like rhythm. Blood vessels like rhythm, hormones like rhythm. Your body heals best when it is not constantly guessing what time night begins. Now, what if you do all of this and still can't sleep? Good question. Because the routine is powerful, but it is not a substitute for medical evaluation when something deeper is wrong. If you get into bed and lie there frustrated for long stretches, don't turn that into nightly combat. Don't keep checking the clock. Don't start doom scrolling. Don't start eating. If you're awake for a while, get up calmly, keep the lights low, and do something quiet until sleepiness returns. Then come back to bed. Bed must remain associated with sleep, not with struggle. And if this problem becomes frequent, don't just suffer silently. Chronic insomnia deserves attention. There is also a hidden blood pressure saboteur I must mention because many people miss it for years. Sleep apnea. If someone tells you that you snore loudly, stop breathing, gasp, choke, or seem restless in your sleep, do not ignore that. If you wake with headaches, feel unrefreshed, or battle strong daytime sleepiness despite spending enough time in bed, that matters too. Sleep apnea is not just about snoring. It can keep oxygen levels unstable, repeatedly jolt the body out of deeper sleep, and contribute to high blood pressure that seems stubborn or mysterious. Many people blame age, stress, or bad luck, when the real issue is untreated breathing disruption all night long. That requires evaluation, not guesswork. I had a patient, Leonard, 81, from Georgia, whose blood pressure looked resistant to everything. More medication, more walking, less salt. Still, the numbers stayed high. His wife finally mentioned that he snored like a chainsaw and sometimes went silent, then jerked awake. A sleep study revealed significant sleep apnea. Once that was treated, his blood pressure became easier to manage. His daytime fatigue improved, and his whole personality softened because he was no longer dragging himself through every day half-rested. So please remember this: the best bedtime routine helps tremendously. Yes, but if your sleep is being repeatedly broken by an untreated disorder, routine alone may not solve what medical care needs to address, and insomnia deserves its own respect as well. Trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, or both can become tightly intertwined with blood pressure because poor sleep increases stress, worsens mood, reduces energy for healthy daytime behaviors, and keeps the body from recovering the way it should. If you find yourself needing the television to sleep or relying on alcohol or feeling dread when bedtime approaches, pay attention. These are signals, not personality quirks. You do not have to white-knuckle your way through bad sleep forever. Talk to your clinician. Ask whether medications, pain, nighttime urination, anxiety, sleep apnea, restless legs, or other conditions may be playing a role. Solving the right problem is always more powerful than collecting more sleep tips. So let me now give you the full gold standard bedtime routine in one smooth sequence, the way I'd want a patient to follow it in real life. Finish dinner about 3 hours before bed if possible. and keep it moderate rather than heavy. Avoid late salty snacks, sugary treats, and alcohol. Keep caffeine earlier in the day, especially if you know you are sensitive. Do most of your hydration earlier, then ease up late in the evening so you're not awake in the bathroom all night. Get your medications and tomorrow's essentials organized before the house gets quiet. And do not turn bedtime into a medication scavenger hunt or a blood pressure panic session. Then, about an hour before bed, dim the lights and let the whole home begin to slow down. Shut off the stimulating television if you can. Put the phone away or on Do Not Disturb. Leave the news, the arguments, and the endless messages for tomorrow. Make the bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. If you want, take a warm shower, read a few calming pages, pray, journal briefly, or stretch gently. Breathe slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Use the bathroom one last time. Then go to bed at the same time you usually do, not when you've squeezed every possible minute out of the night. The body cannot heal well in a home that refuses to transition into evening. And if you wake at 2 a.m., which many older adults sometimes do, don't automatically assume the night is ruined. Stay calm. Keep lights low. Avoid checking your phone. Avoid eating unless you have a specific medical reason. Avoid turning the wake-up into a dramatic event. I hope you follow my suggestions and apply to health. Thank you all of them. See you soon in next video.